The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hola, everyone. Welcome to Open, the one and only show bringing the best of the Bronx, New York, and the world straight to you. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche every Friday. Here's what's coming up in today's show. Leading things off, we'll hear about the annual Excellence Plus Foundation Soccer for Charities event, a fundraiser created to provide education to children in poverty-stricken countries. And after that, we'll go pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month when we find out what's in store for the second annual Team Run in Pink 5K run/walk event taking place in Astoria Park. And then we'll learn about the basics behind the latest weight loss craze called the Keto Diet as we gear up for the holiday season when we speak with health and nutrition expert Chef Nancy Addison. And later on in the show, Bobby C brings us an up-to-date with the latest headlines in the world of sports. And lastly, our Open Audit Spotlight features native New Yorker and flamenco dancer Xianix Barrera. She's offering classes and shares more about her company's upcoming performances taking place at El Barrio's Art Space. We'll even get a taste of what people should expect. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is headed your way because now we are officially open. Hello and welcome to Open. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host y Café con Leche for the next hour. Always inviting you to get social with us. That's right. Tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV or like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, while you're there, don't forget, follow moi on Twitter, FB, Instagram, Insta Stories, LinkedIn, and Snapchat at Rhina Valentin. The Excellence Plus Foundation is a nonprofit organization aiming to ensure any child from socially disadvantageous circumstances due to poverty and is able, well, they're there to assist them in gaining an education. And every year, the organization holds their annual Soccer for Charities event to help raise money for scholarships and to build libraries and help pay teachers' salaries, and all in the name of transforming poverty-stricken communities. And joining us to tell us more, please welcome Excellence Plus Foundation Chair Dr. Zach Puga and advisor to the board, Katie Puga. Hello and welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Welcome. And, I made a formal introduction, but thank you for bringing your significant other.
Thank you.
Advisor to the board. I like that title.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for having us again.
Wonderful, wonderful work that you are doing. It is our absolute pleasure to bring you to our viewers every single year. Let's just enlighten them a little bit and give them a little background on your story.
I am originally from Cameroon, and I've been in the U.S. for about 10 years. But I was born and grew up in a community that we'll actually describe as a poor community. And I have grown out of it and moved out of Cameroon and moved out of that community, and I've completed a lot of education, including 3 masters, a doctorate. And most of it has been because of scholarships and sponsorships by individuals or organizations. So when we get to a point where we were able to provide that example to others, we didn't hesitate a minute to put together a foundation and try to help kids in situations today that I was in yesterday to make sure that no kid around the world is unable to go to school because they cannot afford it, especially when it is extremely cheap in very developing poor countries.
How long has the foundation been in existence?
Yeah.
It's been in existence since 2017.
Since 2017. And how long have you been married?
We've been married almost 7 years now.
7 years. And how did you, I guess, contribute or choose to contribute to, because, like they always say, behind every strong man, there's a strong woman,
Yeah.
right? And so I'm curious to learn about how you even met.
Sure, we met in Detroit, and I was serving with AmeriCorps, and I was actually serving right in Detroit, and we had met in 2009. I'm very passionate about education, and have a background in social work and nonprofit leadership, and we really clicked on our passion in terms of assisting education.
That's lovely. It's wonderful, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like you work together and you're together. And
Yes.
And the clicking on the passion for education came in, of course, later when we decided to endeavor. And, Katie has been excellent because she has the education side of nonprofit and how to do things properly. And we have been a wonderful pair in making this happen. And with the board, the entire board of Excellence Plus Foundation, to whom I gave a lot of credit here as well today. So it's been wonderful what we have been able to do and what the board and Excellence Plus has been able to do. And it's great to be on the show to talk about Excellence Plus because I always get a little bit surprised to meet people who don't know there are still kids around the world who are not able to afford a $30 tuition a year.
who even have teachers, right? Because, as far as I know and what I've read and learned about your organization is you pay teachers so that there can actually be a person physically present to teach versus them just having to go by whatever is given to them on paper.
That's correct. The villages that we're in are actually very remote, and if the child didn't have an opportunity to afford the education, they're likely not leaving their village. And if the school in the village is not operating, they're more restricted and are staying home.
And to add to that, the reason why the school may not be functioning is because you will have school, you will have the kids in the village, but you would not necessarily have a teacher because most teachers are government employees, and sometimes when they are sent into a village where there is no electricity or water, they prefer not to go. So one aspect we have been engaged in is to try to provide some of these remote villages schools with a teacher that we can sponsor, and we do yearly contracts, renewable, depending on how the teachers and the schools are getting along.
Well, let's share some of your success stories since you've taken on this responsibility. It's a big responsibility, but it's so admirable.
Thank you.
Yes.
Last year, the overall test examination rate was about 93%. The students that we serve are 1st through 6th grade, and a majority of the village has under a 3rd grade reading level, both adults and children. So that really is significant that the children are exceeding their examinations and just gives you a sense of the potential that they already have.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Puga,
Yes.
I also understand that you have been able to build a library, and I can only imagine the importance that must be to a village. Like, let's talk about those steps.
Yeah, it's extremely important because most of these kids, and I'm starting with the end of the story, most of these kids will be or have seen and held the book for the first time in September last month. Last year, as part of the event we did at the soccer for charity event, we raised about $50,000, and we decided to embark into offering a library into one of these villages we work on, and we were able to find an organization in France that actually, because Cameroon and the area we're working in Cameroon is mostly French-speaking, so we found an organization in France called Books Without Borders that were able to provide 22,000 books to us that
Wow.
we shipped to Cameroon. And today the library is fully functioning, and we have a full-time librarian, and the kids have been able to hold books, more or less own books, which somewhat of a wild dream if we go back just a year ago.
It's really awesome.
It is also, I'm looking at the way you're admiring him,
Yeah.
and I'm just taking in this
Yes.
relationship. What's it like being married to a miracle worker?
Oh my goodness. He is a star of his own. So it's fantastic to be able to be in partnership with him on this.
And the truth is, she's a lot of a miracle worker than I am. I think so because we embarked into this, and again, Katie having the background she has, she was able to just go in and make things work properly.
Right.
And again, sometimes I go too fast, so I tripped over myself, and she's there to remind me how to make sure that things are done very properly because this is her work, this is her life, and this is her functions. And she's been a big, big part of all of it.
Lovely. Well, life is about partnerships, right?
That's right.
And so before we go, let's share more about the Soccer for Charities.
So tomorrow is the annual event. We do it once a year, and we started this about 7, 8 years ago, and this will be our 6th edition in New York. And we start at Riverside Park on the Upper West Side of Manhattan tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. And again, tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, Riverside Park. We're planning to have a wonderful time. We have 16 teams, so we're running a World Cup tournament where every team is guaranteed 3 games. And then we'll have the final. I didn't bring it this morning, but we have a golden trophy again. And our goal this year was to raise $15,000 again. And as we're checking
You
this morning.
succeeded in doing that,
we
and
did
then
that last
some
year.
last year.
And then some.
Yes.
So as we were-
Congratulations on that.
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. And you were a big part of that as well. at
Thank
Bronx
you
News,
so much,
thank you
Bronx
for having
News.
us. So as we checked this one before just getting on the set, we were almost at $14,000. So we are confident we'll get and probably exceed the 15,000. But tomorrow is 70 degrees. It is Riverside Park. It is beautiful. We're gonna have families. We're gonna have friends. We're gonna have players. But it's a 16-team soccer tournament that we're very, very looking forward to.
And who doesn't like real football?
Right. Oh, okay. I don't know. That's a matter of opinion. I'm not going to even touch that one.
Yeah.
Ooh, those are fighting words.
Yes, yes.
That's a good one. But it is real football.
Matter of opinion, but okay.
Yes.
It's all good. And of course, thank you for making sure you bring it here to our viewers. And
Thank
it is
you.
our absolute pleasure to be a contribution in whatever way we can.
Yes.
Here's to,
Fantastic.
of course, contributing to the next generation and paying it forward. So
Thank you very much. Still
Thank
looking
you.
forward to having you on my team.
Oh my gosh, there
Thank
we
you
go
so
again.
much.
He's like, I thought I was on your team.
Yes.
No, to play.
Oh,
To play soccer. You are on my team. Thanks for having
yes,
us again.
okay, just making sure.
Thank you.
Thank you both. And once again, you guys, Soccer for Charities, a celebration for education, will take place on Saturday, October 12th from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 at Riverside Park, located on 103rd Street and Riverside in Manhattan. And for tickets to participate in this event, please visit Eventbrite, a Soccer for Charities 2019 a celebration for education. We do have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll hear about another fundraiser raising funds for breast cancer awareness. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Open. So October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and our next guest, well, he helped create Team Run in Pink, an event that consists of a 5K trail, as well as activities to help shed light and raise funds for breast cancer research. And this is the second annual Team Run in Pink event, an opportunity to support and empower individuals and families impacted by breast cancer. And joining us to tell us more, please welcome Team Run in Pink co-founder Javier Barragan.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Congratulations on your second year out. And I will really want to open up with the fact that you co-founded this with William.
Yeah, William and Faded Nights.
William, right? And William, we actually familiarized ourselves with him through him winning the Mister competition, right? And when it was introduced to us that Will wanted to bring you guys on, and I realized that it was men spearheading this, I took that in and said, wow, why is that? And I still don't know why is that. Is there somebody in the family, or like, it's really, I love the chivalry behind it, right? There's something really symbolic about men caring about women and taking this on. Whereas normally a woman would do it because they've either survived it or have somebody related to them, gone through it. And so what compelled you gentlemen to create this?
Well, to be honest, you guys play such a big role in our lives, so why not help, you know? Everybody has a mother, sisters, you know, female relatives, and it's such a common cancer in amongst women. So it's like, it's such a great cause, so that's the least we could do for it.
That's the least you could do. And of course, we don't have Will today, right? And
No,
Will
we don't.
was unable to attend on set because?
Unfortunately, he's not here because he graduated from the police academy, so congrats, Will.
So the next time he comes back, it's Officer
He's gonna be,
Will.
yep.
Oh no, Officer Cruz, right?
Officer
because
de la
the
Cruz,
last name. That's awesome, De La Cruz, De La Cruz. Oh my gosh, well that's awesome. Congratulations, Will.
Congrats.
Okay, now this run, the other aspect of it that I find fascinating is the fact that you guys have chosen to always do it on water. So last year you did it on the Hudson River,
yes.
and this year you're doing it in Queens, in Astoria Park near the
Astoria
water.
Park, yeah.
So let's talk about that. Is there something symbolic with that as well?
Well, I think it's a tradition we're gonna want to keep, you know, keep it by the water so we can have nice scenery, you know, and New York is like the best scene you could have, so maybe something like that.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
You know, we'll see where it's next year.
And I also understand you had some additional activities, like some face painting and things of that nature.
Yeah,
so
this
what do
year-
you have in store this year?
Yeah, this year we're gonna have face painting. We have a few performances. We got some artists. I think there's gonna be some dancers also this year again. And we're gonna have a DJ on, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. People come with their kids and just have a nice day over there at the park.
So it's a family affair. And in addition to that, there's water and scenery, and it's a 5K walk or run.
Yeah.
So how do
However
you determine that?
What do you mean,
As
how
far
do
as
you
like
determine?
people register and they register either to walk or run, do you have two separate groups?
No, just everybody at their own pace. You know, everybody will get there. You'll get your number, and however you want to finish it. If you want to go on a bike, you go on a bike. You know. So
Really?
Well.
Boy, you guys
whatever,
are
as
really
long as you
loose if
come
you want
and-
to go on a bike.
But
So then maybe we should make it a triathlon.
maybe let's see. It's our second annual. We don't know where we could go. You know.
No, right? It's forming itself,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You're letting it morph itself.
We got to start
into,
somewhere.
No, it's lovely. I think it's lovely. That's why we're having you guys back on. I
Yeah,
don't
thanks
really
for
know
having
of
us,
too
by
many
the way.
organizations that are there to shed light on breast cancer that are run by gentlemen.
Yeah, and that's what we're here for. I feel like on Earth, you know, why not help? You know, stop being so selfish, everybody else, and just help one another.
Right, exactly. So, so tell me exactly how the funding is, where it goes, and how you chose the organization you're gonna donate to.
Well, Will actually knows that a little more than I do, but we are partnered with Susan G. Coleman. I get it wrong. Yeah.
Susan G. Coleman. All right, so it's clear to me that you're the behind the scenes guy. Let's talk about what you do.
Well, I'm on the phones a lot. So last year, Will came to me and I fell in love with the idea.
Right.
You know, and he just said, gave me a list of what we need to do. So I just opened up that phone book. I made a few phone calls. I helped out with the DJ. with the Parks Department, I had a friend who, she had a few plugs, so.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So you're a really integral role. Well, you play an integral role in the
Try to.
whole. Yeah, well, because you're the coordinator, is what it sounds like to me, right?
Well, we all are. I don't want to take every title to myself. We all just give our part.
Okay. And so what's Will's part? Besides showing up and
Oh,
looking
he's
like
the
a papi chulo.
mastermind. Yeah, he's the mastermind. He's the face
Mr.
of the
He's
company.
Mr.
Yeah, I gotta get on it. He's a good example.
All right. And so, like you said, it's a family affair. Are there any last words you want to share with our viewers?
You guys could go to eventbrite.com, type in Running Pink 2. Women's with breast cancer, they're able to come. They don't have to pay anything. This is completely for free for them. And you could go there as well, and you could just sign up on the spot.
Is there a dress code?
There is no dress. Wear sneakers.
Wear sneakers in pink.
Yeah.
Of course, because that's the color of breast cancer awareness.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
woo. All right, Javier, you guys, once again, the second annual Team Run in Pink for Breast Cancer Awareness is taking place Saturday, October 19th at Astoria Park. Great Lawn, it's called, and the registrations begin at 2:30 in the afternoon. And to participate in the event, be sure to visit Eventbrite Run in Pink 2. And once again, all proceeds will be donated to Komen Greater NYC. Also, October is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And did you know that domestic violence has variations, different variations, such as physical, verbal, emotional, and economic abuse? Yeah, take that into consideration. And if you or someone you know is trying to find a way out of a domestic violence situation, please call or text the National Domestic Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. We do have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll learn the basics behind the trending diet. Well, it's called Keto Diet. We'll be right back.
Cheru has no choice. She and millions like her walk miles a day for dirty water. But together, we can end their walk by providing clean water close by. Instead of spending hours walking to get water that makes them sick, girls can be in a classroom and moms will gain back time to care for their families. Sons and daughters can grow up strong, finally free of sicknesses. It's true. When you just add water, you change a life. Learn more at worldvision.org.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
Hey, welcome back to Open, everyone. You know, we're always inviting you to get social with us. That's right. Tweet us at BronxNet TV, and while you're there, tweet me too at Rhina Valentin. So it's fall, and well, you know what's quickly approaching, right? The holidays. So many people want to remain disciplined while enjoying everything the holidays has to offer around the areas of food. And well, there's a diet that seems to be trending called the Keto Diet, and well, it seems to have some quick results, and it's said to be a low-carb diet with numerous health benefits. And joining us to tell us more about it is health and nutrition expert and chef and #1 best-selling international award-winning author Nancy Addison. Hello, welcome back, Nancy.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
Oh, we are always happy when you're here. All the lovely tips you provide. And so we're going to open up just with the keto diet thing, because I mean, this keto diet has been trending all over social media. And for some odd reason, I think people think that they need to pay to be on the keto diet, when in fact they can do it on their own.
They sure can. And it's really
been around for a long time. It can be seen as a new version of the Atkins diet. The body has two preferred forms of fuel, and that's sugar and fats. And most people have been eating processed foods or sugary, high sugar foods, empty carbs. And so the body will use that first and store the fat till later. And so what this diet does is it cuts down on the processed foods and the sugar so that your body will use the fat and will utilize the stored fat as well. And so not snacking is a big part of this. And then I really want to encourage people to do quality food.
Right.
And
so what does keto stand for? Let's start there.
So keto is where your liver starts putting out ketones, which is what feeds your body that energy. And these ketones are very plentiful in coconut oil, which is a saturated fat. And all the cells in our body are surrounded by a coating that is protein, saturated fat, and cholesterol. And so this is really important to have all our cells working properly.
So I've also been told that coconut oil is really good for memory, to preserve memory.
It is. In fact, Alzheimer's is very much like diabetes of the brain. It's not able to access the glucose in the bloodstream, whereas coconut oil has the ketones in it, and the brain's able to access that for energy without having any glucose.
So I use this in my smoothies every morning, but I noticed you have this other product, hemp oil, which is new to me.
I love this. This is something I use all the time. Hemp oil is a very great omega-3, which is anti-inflammatory. And you combine that with the coconut oil, and it is just wonderful for your brain health and for reducing inflammation in your body.
And so one of the other things that people tend to, I guess, give up is dairy. And I notice you have some cheese here. So what's the difference with this cheese versus just the regular cheese you order at the deli?
Right. Well, this diet emphasizes protein, and I think people overdo the animal protein more than maybe they should. And so if they are going to do any kind of dairy cheese, I like the organic raw cheese because it has not been pasteurized. It still has the probiotics in it, which support our immune system. Our immune system is made up of good bacteria, and so these raw organic cheeses will still have that good bacteria in it. The pasteurization that they use for dairy products and things like that can also destroy all those probiotics. So it may have had it before it was pasteurized, but not afterwards.
So I want to revisit a comment you made earlier, right? You said this assists with the brain restoration, right? And kind of with similar, or you can relate it to like the diabetes of the brain, right? It's what you, and I know that you do a lot of work with educating individuals about diabetes. And is this particular diet good for people who may have been diagnosed with diabetes?
It can be very beneficial because you're going to be adding more colorful fruits and basically vegetables to your diet, but people don't realize that avocado is actually a fruit. So the diet would say low fruit, but these types of fruit, these are healthy fats, are really beneficial. And a lot of people don't realize that a lot of these fruits and vegetables, even like leafy greens, have a certain amount of protein in them. In fact, 45% of spinach is protein. So you're eating more fruits and vegetables, you're cutting out refined carbs, and I really think it's the sugar and the refined foods that really encourage diabetes, like the high fructose corn syrup that's added to many of them.
And so, okay, so we spoke about organic cheese now, but I noticed that you have coconut milk. So why coconut milk as opposed to just cow milk?
Well, I really love alternative milk. So I think people are adding too many animal products to their diet. And when you can add healthy plant-based foods to your diet, I think it really benefits you. And coconut is one of those fantastic foods like hemp is, that has incredible nutrition, and it doesn't have enzyme inhibitors in it like many of the proteins. So like if you wanted to add more protein, plant-based protein to your diet, you could sprinkle things like hemp seed on your salads or on your different things.
So I know you're going to be offering these cooking classes, and I know you have 2 coming up, all right?
Yes.
Let's talk about that before we go.
Right. I'm teaching some classes for the Horticulture Society of New York, and I'm having them at their new, it's a fairly new greenhouse at the Denny Farrell Riverside State Park. It's a fantastic facility, and they offer these wonderful cooking classes year-round. They're very affordable, and they do all kinds of different subjects. And so this Saturday, I'm doing one on diabetes in your diet. And then a week from Saturday, I'm doing one for aging gracefully and nutrition for elderly.
It's important, right? Because after you start aging, your body is requesting assistance, and it's important to have the knowledge and know how to use food as medicine.
Right. Well, and the foods become our cells, our tissue, and our blood. How could it not directly impact our health? And I'm going to be 65 next month, and I can't even remember the last time I've been to a doctor. So this is like my medicine cabinet.
Woo, inspiration, and we love having you here. Thank you for always coming and sharing your knowledge with us, with me, our viewers. Nancy Addison, everyone. And once again, Nancy's going to be teaching cooking classes for the Horticulture Society of New York City, and that's going to be happening in this month. Actually, it's going to be happening this month. Her first class begins Saturday, October 12th, and for more information, you can visit Eventbrite Diabetes and Your Diet with Nancy Addison, and also make sure to visit organichealthylife.com for a consultation with Nancy. Stay tuned, because Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.
We begin our look at sports with some Thursday night football this Friday morning. Forget about Tom Brady and the Patriots offense. Undefeated New England is getting it done these days with its defense. The reigning Super Bowl champions forced 4 turnovers and beat the New York Football Giants 35-14 to reach 6-0 last night in Foxborough. Check this out, too. Brady had 2 touchdown runs and moved ahead of Peyton Manning for second place on the NFL's all-time passing yards list, despite not really being at his best. The G-men played pretty well defensively, and they have a slew of injuries, of course, and Daniel Jones had 3 interceptions. That's a recipe for a loss, especially against undefeated New England. Sam Darnold knew he had to make sure one thing was clear before he returned to action. The Jets quarterback said last week he wanted to have assurance that he didn't risk dying on the field because of an enlarged spleen. Recovering from mono, he got that clearance this week. Darnold and the Jets are home for Dallas this Sunday at 4:25 p.m. The Giants return to MetLife next Sunday to welcome Arizona. Meanwhile, the Cleveland Browns were supposed to be the toast of the NFL this season. That hasn't been the case so far. In fact, there's trouble in paradise. Odell Beckham Jr. and Baker Mayfield expressed frustration at their inability to connect for more completions as the Browns have sputtered to a 2-3 start. Beckham has been limited to 4 catches for 47 yards over the past 2 games. That's the lowest mark over any 2-game span in Beckham's NFL career, according to ESPN stats. I guess he finally misses Eli Manning, Rena. In the NBA, Kevin Durant doesn't think he's missing out on anything when it comes to the New York Knicks. Durant said Tuesday that the orange and blue can't really rely on their brand, quote unquote, to land the best players, many of whom don't even remember the franchise actually being good. He said, I think a lot of fans look at the Knicks as a brand and expect these younger players in their lifetime. They don't remember the Knicks being good, Durant said Tuesday in an in-studio interview with Hot 97 in New York. I've seen the Knicks in the finals, but kids coming up after me didn't see that. So the whole brand of the Knicks is not as cool as, let's say, the Golden State Warriors or even the Lakers or now the Nets. You know what I'm saying? The cool thing now is not the Knicks. Wow. Well, it's cool this morning to be a Washington Mystics fan because they are the WNBA champs. Everyone loves a winner, right? The Mystics beat the Connecticut Sun 89-78 on Thursday night in the winner-take-all Game 5 of the finals at Entertainment and Sports Arena in D.C. Congrats to them. What a series. I think it's safe to say that Houston, New York in the American League Championship Series has a chance to go down in history. Garrett Cole and the Astros defeated Tampa in Game 5 Thursday night 6-1. Cole fired 10 strikeouts in the elimination game to set up the showdown with the Bronx Bombers, which dispatched Minnesota in a sweep in the American League Division Series. Side note, Cole is 18-0 with a sub-2 ERA in his past 24 starts. He hasn't lost a game since May. His next start against the Pinstripers would be a good time for that first loss, wouldn't you say? Yes, I would say it would be good. Yanks could be getting reinforcements back too. Injured center fielder Aaron Hicks feels like he's ready to return to the roster for the American League Championship Series against the Stros, which opens Saturday night, tomorrow night. Hicks, who has a right elbow flexor strain and last played on August 3rd, is among a group of players at the Yankees complex in Tampa who were not on the ALDS roster. Hicks said Tuesday he's definitely ready to go out there and play. I think the Yanks add him as a fourth outfielder in this upcoming series. I could see CC Sabathia also pictured back on the roster as well. The MLB postseason has been remarkable so far, so good. With one swing, Howie Kendrick erased so much pain and disappointment associated with the words Game 5 in D.C. when he launched a go-ahead grand salami in the 10th inning on Wednesday night. It sent the Nationals dugout into a frenzy, stunned a sold-out crowd at Dodger Stadium, made up for Kendrick's own forgettable series, and finally gave the Nationals something to celebrate after so many years waiting for this moment. The Nationals are going to the National League Championship Series for the first time since the franchise moved to Washington from Montreal prior to the 2005 season. They did it by knocking off the top-seeded 106-win Dodgers, a team that by some measures was one of the best of all time in the NLDS, securing the decisive game with a 7-3 win in 10 innings on Wednesday night. The Nats became just the fourth team in MLB history to win a winner-take-all game in extra innings on the road after coming up short in this round 4 times, losing in 3 Game 5s, 2012, 2016, and 2017. They finally left another team to answer questions about a disappointing exit. In May, they were 19-31, folks. They trailed in this series 2-1 after losing Game 3 on Wednesday night. They were down in the 8th inning 3-1 once again, but this time with Clayton Kershaw, arguably the best pitcher of his generation, on the mound at Dodger Stadium. No team in MLB history had ever come back from down at least 3 runs when facing elimination twice in the same postseason. The Nats trailed by 3 in the wildcard game and again on Wednesday, and they're still in contention to win it all. Unreal. The St. Louis Cardinals also survived a Game 5 and rallied in their NLDS series against Atlanta to advance to the NLCS. Former Yankee Brian McCann got everything he wanted from his final Major League season, minus the thrill of helping the Braves return to the World Series for the first time since he was a suburban Atlanta teenager who dreamed of playing for his hometown team. After the Braves season unceremoniously ended with a 13-1 loss to the Cardinals in Game 5 of the NLDS on Wednesday night, McCann announced he had just played the last game of a 15-season career that included 7 All-Star selections. Time for some quick hitters from around the world of sports. Welterweight boxing champion Errol Spence crashed a speeding Ferrari in Dallas early Thursday and was badly injured, but is expected to survive, police said. The crash happened just before 3 a.m. when Spence's Ferrari crossed a median into oncoming traffic and flipped over several times, police said. Spence was taken to a hospital where he was placed in the intensive care unit. Police said they're still investigating the cause of the crash, but they noted that the Ferrari was speeding at the time. At times, it felt like only a force of nature could stop New Zealand's streak of wins at the Rugby World Cup, and that's exactly what happened, folks. The threat of a typhoon forced Rugby World Cup organizers in Japan to cancel 2 pool games scheduled for Saturday, including the Pool B match between the defending champion All Blacks and Italy. That ended New Zealand's perfect record in the group stage. The 3-time champions had won all 31 of their pool games dating to the first tournament back in 1987. Bad weather could affect the F1 race this weekend, too. The 2019 Formula One season has reached Japan in the midst of the Rugby World Cup and typhoons, of course, in the same country. So all eyes will be on the Japanese Grand Prix, where Lewis Hamilton's top spot is the story once again. Hamilton has won this Grand Prix race in both 2018 and 2017, as well as 2015 and 2014. Japan is the venue for the 17th Grand Prix of the 2019 season. If you want to watch it here in the States, Rhina, live, it starts at 1:10 a.m. Eastern Time. 1:10 a.m. Mark it down. How about this natural disaster courtesy of the NCAA? Monday, the association announced that its Division III Committee on Infractions found that the head football coach at Mary Hardin Baylor had violated his responsibility rules when he failed to promote an atmosphere for compliance and failed to monitor his staff, whatever that means. The summary released by the NCAA stated that its decision that the committee said that the football staff members led by the head coach violated recruiting and extra benefit rules by providing impermissible transportation. In summation, a total of 2 football players were given permission to use the head coach's 2006 Subaru on 4 different occasions. Because of that, the university confirmed that the NCAA has, among other punitive measures, stripped the football program of all of its wins and records during the 2016 and 2017 seasons, including its 2016 national championship. That's one slow car doing an awful amount of damage, Rhina. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for a MotoGP rider who's whipping around the track in anything but a Subaru on his way to becoming the greatest of all time. Honda's Marc Marquez sealed his 4th consecutive MotoGP title with 4 races to spare after winning the Thai Grand Prix on Sunday after a thrilling duel down the stretch. The title was the 6th MotoGP title of the Spaniard's Grand Prix career, with the 26-year-old becoming the youngest rider to achieve the feat. At the age of 26, he has won 8 Grand Prix world titles after clinching his 6th MotoGP World Championship in Thailand. Think about that. Marquez has been a near unstoppable force across the last decade through all 3 classes of the World Championship. In MotoGP, he has romped to success on bikes that have proven difficult to handle in other riders' hands during MotoGP's most competitive era, with 2019 arguably his toughest challenge yet. Is he the greatest rider of all time? Well, maybe not yet, but if he continues to trend this way, by the time he's done, he will be. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C. Stay with us.
Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
welcome back to Open, everyone. Our last guest is a dancer, flamenco teacher, choreographer, and founder of Xianix Barrera Flamenco. Her choreography is known for showcasing female empowerment, queer themes, sexual identity, and social justice color. Throughout her dancing career, she's had the opportunity to perform on some of the most prestigious stages, such as the Joyce Theater, Lincoln Center, the Red Theater in Abu Dhabi, and Café Silverio in Sevilla, Spain. Me comí. Here to share more about her monthly performance at El Barrio Art Space, that is, and classes. Please welcome Xianix Barrera. Bueno.
Buenos días, nena.
Hasta Spain. Look, I'm twisting over because I want to be right here with you. I know, but later on you're going to be like, and I'm going to join in as well.
Of course.
What a lovely life. I mean, of course, I'm making jokes because we've had you on before, but the last time we had you on, you were representing the dance parade, which is one of my favorite parades of all time.
Awesome,
so it was lovely to have you representing it here on our open stage. But here now today, you're representing you, your organization, and I'm always in awe about people who are able to design their life around something that they love to do and something that allows them to just really just be a childlike, right? Because to me, dancing is like exercising the child within.
Yeah, creativity and creation, and it's awesome.
What has that been for you, though, before even now offering these classes, but like being able to travel and being able to study in the what I guess we would consider the motherland of flamenco?
It is. España.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I'm from Washington Heights, and we don't really have that luxury. We don't have that upbringing of, go here, go there. You go to Puerto Rico, you go to La República, you go downtown. Pero, it wasn't until I was in college, actually, that I started flamenco. And it was actually a friend in class who was like, you got to go to Sevilla. That's where you got to learn. And ever since 2006, I go every other year to continue training, studying, seeing shows, working, collaborating. And it's fantastic.
No, it's lovely that you say that, right? Because what you're really referencing is just that cultural enrichment, right? It's a cultural enrichment. And I think it's so important that our people, and when I say our people, I'm a Latina, so I'm speaking on behalf of my Latino cultura. It's like, it's important to hold pride in our culture, but it's also important to learn other people's culture, because then you're able to kind of understand what our origins are, or where they come from, and whether you're with them or oppose them to them. The fact is that there's some kind of similarity and there's some kind of relation in every single art form that represents the different cultures.
Absolutely. Like when I go to Sevilla, I always go to Sevilla, the south of Spain, to study. The people of Sevilla remind me so much of Latinos, like warm, so funny, estamos en casa, no? And I just love it. It was definitely opening of the mind.
Let's give everybody a little background on flamenco dance and its classical form, right? Because this is a folklore, right? But it's classical and it's elegant and it's rather it's a prestigious dance.
Yeah, it's multicultural because there are many different cultures that were in Spain, and many of those cultures influenced flamenco. You have Africa right next door, so you have the African influence, you have Moorish, Arabic influence, the Spanish Christian, the Sephardic Jews, Indian. All of these cultures were in Spain, and they all influenced flamenco. So you'll see many different influences within the cante, which is the singing, the baile, which is the dancing, and the toque, which is the guitar.
So I got a little sneak peek, and you guys are going to get a taste of what her company is bringing to El Barrio. Yeah. However, what stood out for me was that there was this gypsy sound that was ancestral.
Yes. The art form of flamenco is not very old, but of course all the cultural influences that were there. I mean, for example, the Moorish culture was there in Granada for 800 years, so it has a very antique, feel to it, but there's also now many modern influences as well. So in a flamenco show nowadays, you can see the violin or the flute. We also have the percussion, the cajon, which is a box drum, which comes from Peru. So it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It sounds beautiful. And thank you for bringing it to El Barrio. And before we go, let's just share with everyone how they'll have the opportunity to not only learn it, but also witness it and experience it on a professional scale. And perhaps in taking her classes, you can become part of her company.
Yeah, at El Barrio, where actually I live, we do a monthly flamenco tablao flamenco, which is a traditional flamenco show of a song and dance. And we do it every second Friday of the month. Tonight is the opening season. So we go from October to June, and you'll get to see a taste of what will happen tonight.
Well, thank you for bringing it here to our stages. You guys, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, Xianix Barrera will perform for us, or rather her company is going to perform for us. So don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss this.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Hey, welcome back to Open, everyone. It's now time for this week's Open Artist Spotlight. Here now to perform Solea por Bulerías, please welcome Xianix Barrera Flamenco Dance Company.
Cuando remedio no tenga, cuando remedio no tenga, es que te con tu ciruano, prima mía de mi alma, la campanilla, la lengua, y que te corte un ciruano. vuelta de la esquina donde nadie, yo a la vuelta de la esquina donde nadie no esté.
Oh my goodness! I like Xianix Barrera Flamenco Company. Oh my goodness! I just wonder while you guys are catching your breath, I'm gonna let everyone know that Xianix Barrera Flamenco Company, they're gonna be performing every second Friday of the month at El Barrios Art Space, which is located at 215 East 99th Street. And for more information, please visit Xianix, that's with an X.com. And that is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through and to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the recablecast tonight and 24 hours a day at frostnet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor. Adiós. Mucho amor. Ok, vamos, enséñame.
Desde la quilla hasta el puente, ay, que mi velero de ya. Temporada, cuando llegue temporada, que será de Puerto Rico, cuando llegue temporada, que temporada, cuando llegue temporada, que será de Borinquen, ay, cuando llegue temporada, que temporada, cuando llegue temporada.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
And I can't change, even if I try, even if I wanted to. My love, she keeps me warm. 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 She keeps me warm.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.